Bruh. Bruh.
Yeah, boy.
Yo, what's up? Welcome. Now this is the part that I'm gonna explain the build. I decided to follow this format maybe for a while. Let's see how it goes, because it requires less editing, and sometimes people just ask what gems I use in what pieces, stuff like that. They are obviously in path of building, but mostly new players cannot follow, it seems. That's why I'm gonna show everything in game. So we are gonna follow that. I'm gonna explain the items and the gems inside them, and maybe check the talent tree. Yeah, we are gonna do that. So we're in Expedition League. Let's just show the death count again. Maybe some people think it is Photoshop or whatever. Only 5 times. Level 95. Pretty tanky character if you know what you are doing. A solid character. You must play this, guys. Do not miss this. Maybe something will get nerfed. This is even a non-crit build. Maybe in the future I will upgrade the build, maybe make the crit build and one-shot everything. It's gonna be very broken, alright. So let's just put on D&D and let's start with the items. So first of all, because our skill has shield charge and shield crush, so these are actually newly buffed skills, and shield crush is actually a new skill. You actually need a good shield that requires maybe armor or evasion. Added physical damage per 15 armor or evasion. Same thing goes for this one also, shield charge. People also play spectral shield throw. It is a different build, we are not doing that. So that's why you need a good armor based shield. Evasion also works, but it makes no sense to stack evasion on a berserker in my opinion. That's why we are using an armor based shield. So once you are buying this, you want to search for something with a lot of armor, that's it, depending on your budget. I just typed 2900 and 1 resist. This one also had some strength and life, so I figured out it's gonna be a good investment. That's why I paid some extra exalt for this one. but a good armor based at least 2800 shields with one good resists are like 3 exalt right now, because shield builds are pretty much popular, mostly spectral shield throw, shield crush, shield charge. These are not that popular right now. It is very easy to buy shields, alright. You can maybe skip resist. If you check my amulet, it only provides one resist. We are gonna check the items later on, obviously, all the items. So maybe you can also skip one resist and focus on armor, so you can have a better DPS. That's the thing that you want on a shield. So for a weapon, because this is a shield skill, you just want a stat stick. That is what they were called back in maybe 3 years ago. Once we actually played lots of stat stick builds, maybe you are familiar with those. So this is actually a stat stick. We just want this for the stats that it provides. So global damage up to 60%, try to get something good. So the thing that you want to, this weapon actually has a lot of variants, alright. This one provides maximum life per level, maximum mana per level. So there is also energy shield version, and just, you know, think about the combinations. Energy shield life, energy shield mana, I believe, life mana. So there are lots of combinations, so search for life and mana because they are the ones that we want. Mana isn't that important, but yeah, this is cheap actually. And get something with good global damage up to 60%. So other than that, why we are using this: enemies blinded by you while you are blinded have malediction. So we actually need to blind the target, and we also need to be blind all the time. That's why we use brutal restraint with Nasima. Make sure that you buy it with Nasima, alright, type Nasima, you can see Akara of Nasima. So you can actually get second sight keystone. Normally this is eternal youth. Whenever you socket this in with Nasima, it is second sight. You are blind. Blind does not affect your light radius, so it is good. More melee crit chance, which is not needed because this is not a crit build. We are playing with resolute technique. Because non-crit builds are way cheaper and gets the job done. This is a very powerful build. But maybe in the end I will also do a crit build, but you need to invest more. So we are blind all the time. We also have blind chance on hit because our Mirage Warriors can actually get all the stats that we have. You know, they just do those on hit effects. They can actually blind. So if they blind the target, the target will have malediction. Malediction is a debuff. If I don't forget, maybe I will put the description on the screen. I believe that increases the damage taken by the enemy, and also the enemy deals less damage or maybe reduced damage, something like that. So it is good for both offense and defense. So this weapon actually provides a lot of stuff. Probably best in slot for this build. Helmet. First of all, enchant. General Cry has +1 to maximum number of Mirage Warriors. That is our warriors, you can see. Normally they are 5 and now they are 6. You can increase the number from 5 to 6. That's pretty much it. After that I just crafted this with essence. You don't need intelligence. I actually have lots of intelligence which you don't even need. You can see I can just maybe, yeah, let's see how much intelligence we need. 62. You just need 62 intelligence. This is your base intelligence. I think none of my gear, other items, maybe some of my cluster jewels have a little. Let's see. No. Yeah, I don't have any intelligence, so this is your base intelligence, it seems. So you just need a little bit intelligence, so you don't need it on helmet. Just get it on your amulet, alright? This is what I crafted by mistake. This actually has a very low life. I just used this for that chaos resist actually. So resist, life, maybe intelligence, but again you don't need it, alright? If you want intelligence, just use essence of spite maybe. But amulet is very cheap in this build, so just get that intelligence from your amulet, alright? Do not even bother on that helmet. If you have a higher budget, get something with at least 85 item level. This is 85 at least, but this doesn't have any influence. Elder influence is probably your best option. Put nearby enemies take 9% increased damage taken, you know, from physical damage. That actually provides a lot of DPS. So that can be your end game helmet. This is actually very cheap. This is a shit helmet, alright. I just used this for the chaos resist. If you want chaos resist, just use essence of envy. Armor to chaos resist. Body armor, first of all, this is something that you can. There are actually lots of other examples. I will probably put them on the screen. So I just picked this because this was very cheap. I bought this for 4 Exile with 6 linked. I'm not sure about the price, but yeah, that's what I sniped it for. Non-curse auras from your skills have increased effect for some additional DPS. Astral Plate is obviously the best base you can get because it is armor base plus provides a lot of resistances from the implicit. Other stats: life, resist, if you have an open prefix, max life. If you think your life is enough, it is way more than enough. Because this build isn't crit, you can just go for life nodes easily. You can also craft maybe block as a prefix. 7% chance to block attack damage to be even tankier, or dodge spell it. It actually makes more sense because this build is very tanky against attacks actually. The spells are actually deadlier for this build. So you can also maybe put that dodge if you want. Maybe you lose a little health. You can also do that. For other chests, I will just put them on the screen. We are not bleed immune, so that crap chest, whatever it is not bad. It is just for more extra defense actually. You don't even need to use that aspect. Some people play with this. It is just for defensive purposes actually. It doesn't even provide any DPS. If you want to be completely bleed immune, just go for that if you want. Also, it provides good armor. Maybe a belly of the beast, cheaper, lots of life and a little resist. What else? Other astral plates maybe with some mitigation, physical damage taken as fire maybe, endurance charge if you got hit recently. So just use whatever you want, because this is not a crit build. There are not much stuff to get for DPS. That's why I picked non-curse aura effect. So just pick a good influence if you want, or pick a unique body armor. Just play with whatever you want. Chest is your luxury item. Just buy it at last, alright? Do not rush for the chest. Just play with some random rare chest maybe until you figure out what you want to use, because there are lots of options. So for Amulet, first of all, again, if your Watcher's Eye doesn't have a vitality modifier, you actually can skip vitality, and that pride has reduced reservation. You don't actually need that normally. So let's just show that in the game. As you can see, all my auras and buffs are up. I don't have vitality anymore. 44 mana left, which is more than enough. I actually normally have, I believe, 30 something mana. Yeah, it is even more mana now. So if you don't want that vitality, just skip pride reservation. That's it, that is what it is for. If you don't have a double Watcher's Eye or whatever, just skip that. Other stats, intelligence, we just talked about that while explaining the helmet. You just want some intelligence to reach that 62 intelligence, I believe. Just check your gems or items, whatever. I believe this item needs 62 intelligence, yeah. Because we don't actually use any intelligence gems. So you just need 62 intelligence, it seems. Well, I have way more than that already, you don't need that. Just put that. Life, resistances, that's why you can actually skip resist on your shield to buy something for way cheaper. Because yeah, you can just see that I have only 1 resist on my amulet. You can even put 3 resist maybe. Put chaos resist. So this is just to cap whatever you are missing. Or just put that pride, use a couple of levels vitality, get a double Watcher's Eye. And that's pretty much it for your amulet. If you want to invest even further, because this is a non-crit build, you cannot put crit multiplier or whatever. You can maybe get +1 level of strength gems or physical gems. Because these skills actually have physical tag, and also they are strength gems, so you can just get +1. If you actually get +1 strength gems, this is gonna get +1, this is gonna get +1, this, and this. So probably that's a good way to get some damage. So +1 strength gems. These are all strength gems, by the way, because they are all red. So a +1 strength gems in the end can actually provide you some good DPS. For anoint, I just anointed gladiatorial combat. A lot of attack damage per blah blah armor or evasion. So the better your shield is, the better this will actually provide you DPS. If you want more life, you can maybe put there's this discipline and training, so you can push that 7k life easily. Maybe you just actually notice that my amulet actually has a crafted life. My helmet doesn't even have a normal life roll. This is an armor life roll actually. So actually some of my pieces, this again doesn't have you can get more life, alright? That's what I'm trying to explain. So you can easily push that 7k, more than that if you want. Yeah, that's pretty much it about the amulet. Rings, only curse choice is vulnerability. It is easy to get curse on a ring, that's why I picked this. Vulnerability curse, life, resist, that's it. If you want to invest maybe a little bit more, put melee damage. That's pretty much it. I can't actually think of any other stats. Flat physical damage also works, but it isn't needed. I actually slammed that 2 to 4 physical damage myself. Rip Exile. That's pretty much it. Just pick a good curse ring, depending on your budget. Maybe skip that melee damage. This was like maybe 2 Exile, because the resistances are actually bad on this one. You can easily cap your resist in this build, thanks to Amulet and maybe Helmet, I don't know. It is actually easy. Other ring, just resist, life. I picked Vermilion because I don't need extra damage or whatever. So one important thing, one of your jewelry must have an open prefix, so you can actually put non-channel skills have -7 mana cost. If you use Fertile Catalyst, because this is also a Vermilion ring, it normally provides 7% life, 76 life, and -7. If I use Fertile, bam, it's now 8% life, 91 life, -8 mana cost. So it also increases that mana cost reduction. You don't need that, -7 is enough, even -6 is enough. You can see the only thing that we want mana is, you know, Berserk and General Cry. Our mobile skill is free because we are using life tap, which I'm gonna explain in a moment. So you just check my mana, you know, nothing happens. You can see I just generated as soon as possible. So I'm -7, -6, it is just enough. Also shield charge is free, just check my mana, nothing happens, alright. But you need to put that minus whatever mana cost on one of your jewelry. It can be a ring or an amulet. So do not forget that, it is important. If you maybe made a mistake or found some good jewelry, kept your resist, maybe got some damage, whatever, you can actually use a replica Conqueror's efficiency jewel on your talent tree, which actually provides -9 mana cost. I don't know if I have it. Ah yeah, this one. Replica Conqueror's efficiency, -9 mana cost. Just use this until you fix that jewelry, or just play with this all the time. Maybe that 5% +5 rage, maybe that will also help. I don't know. This is actually a good jewel. This is also very good while leveling. So yeah, you can just use this. And that's pretty much it. I picked Vermilion for some extra life again. Glows. So the base type must have, as you know, implicit reduce attack damage with main hand. This is an offhand build. Attack damage increase with offhand. So just check these bases. Just type attack damage with offhand and pick implicit while searching. Don't search for South Swing Glows, because there are actually 2 or 3 different base types. Just write attack damage with offhand. Check the passive, you know, the affix with the implicit tag while searching, and then it will just list every base type that has this modifier actually. So buy that glows like that. Put life resist, that's it. You don't even need anything else. Yeah, you don't need it. Yeah, you don't need belt. Obvious choice for physical builds. More maximum physical attack damage, less minimum. So that's actually a downside. So while buying this, you actually need to get something that has a very low, less minimum physical roll. So this is actually 30, the minimum, so it is actually very good. So you also want to get the maximum roll on that more maximum physical, 38. Not the max roll, obviously, but gets the job done. So that's pretty much it. You actually deal more maximum damages, because damage in this game, most skills, maybe all skills, I'm not sure, has a damage range. So just check shield charge. 350 to 525 base offhand. So that's just an example. So the minimum roll is 350, the maximum roll is 525. So once you use this, that 500 whatever is actually 45% more, alright? And the less one is, you get the idea, alright? That is what this means. So a good way to get some DPS. And this is very cheap, by the way. because most people play minion builds right now. Saboteur and Spectral Shield Throw is mostly played as cold, I believe. That's why no one uses this. Apparently, this is normally a very expensive belt, but right now this is under an Exalt. Ridiculous. Just buy a good one as soon as possible. Finally, Corpse Walker. This is needed to play the build. While leveling, you need to wait for this boots. It gets activated at 55 level, I believe. Let's just check that. Let's just check. I put enchant. Yeah, it's right now 60. I believe this is 55 level normally. Yeah. So once you get that, you get to level 55, you can just start playing as General Cry as soon as possible. Just level with Shield Crush, Shield Charge. Until that, I just do. I leveled like that. I will maybe also put a leveling tree. It is actually very easy to level. Just get a Titicus Span shield, unique shield, for like 4 chaos, I believe. It is because good leveling weapon, that's why it is 4 chaos. Just buy that. Later on buy another shield, which I couldn't even sell. This one, I bought this at 51 level. So just get a good shield with armor and just level with shield crush, shield charge. That's very easy. At 55, just put General Cry and bam, that's it. Make sure you get those Warcry nodes on the talent tree, which we are going to talk about soon. Because this boots actually spawns corpses, and General Cry is something that requires corpses. That's why when I am moving, I actually put corpses behind. You can just see them while I'm moving. So they will just get cast, spawn, you know, from those corpses. That's why you want that corpses. For enchant, because this build is mostly vulnerable to spells, let's say, because we are actually very tanky against physical damage, attack damage. We have lots of block, armor, fortify, whatever. I picked dodge spell. If you taken spell damage recently, also again you can put maybe dodge spell as a prefix on your what's this, body armor. And that's it. That's pretty much it about the gear. Flasks, Quicksilver, so you can move faster. Because we are immune to freeze already, I just put poison. So we don't die to poison. You can just put this on your quartz flask if you want, because you also need a curse removal. You don't need quartz flask, but it actually helps in maps, so you don't get body blocked. We just use this for the phasing, so I can just move around, you know. Don't get body blocked or whatever, just move around. That's why phasing is actually very good. There's no animation. Why the... Normally while phasing your character is blue, but nothing happens right now for some reason. Interesting. So just put curse on this or this, put poison on this or this. Alright, you get the idea. You don't need freeze. You can also put shock if you want. I'm not sure, because we actually also remove all ailments whenever we use a Warcry. Thanks to this, remove an ailment when you Warcry. So if you get maybe shock once you use that General Cry, which only has 1.67 cooldown, you just remove that shock or whatever you have. So you can also remove those ailments with some little cooldown. That's pretty much it. Lion's Roar, armor, and more melee physical damage. So this is a DPS flask, also provides armor. Overflowing Chalice, one of the underrated flasks right now, very cheap, still very cheap. Just use, what's this? Enkindling, I believe, or yeah, improve it but prevent it from gaining charges. Yeah, this one. Just use it until you have increased effect. So, because this provides increased charge gained by other flasks during flask effect. So once you drink this, so once you drink all your flasks or like this, just kill a couple of monsters and bam, these are gonna get fully charged as soon as possible. So this flask actually lets you generate the charges for your other flasks. And because this flask already generates no charges during effect of any overflowing chalice, so you cannot actually stack these flasks, you know, maybe more than once, alright, more than one. That already has that downside on its own. So if you just use this enkindling orb and craft this, it actually doesn't even work. So you just get that increased effect for free, pretty much. This is also a sulfur flask, so you can also get that 40% damage. So a very good flask while mapping. I am also using this on bosses because there is nothing much to use. But on some maybe bosses, you can just go for double life flask. I also use Blood of Karui on bosses like Sirus. Because while mapping, our final flask is an eternal life flask with bleed removal, staunching. Because we are not bleed immune, that's why this is a must. But on bosses that doesn't you know, apply bleed, you can just do something like that. Or if you think you don't need this because you can only press this once, you can also go for double life flask if you want. Just do something like that, and that's it. So in this part we are gonna take a look at the gems we are using. You can actually use the gems in other slots. You only need a 6 link for your main setup obviously, but anything else can be placed in other equipments. So you can use maybe this mobility setup in your boots or in your helmet. It doesn't matter, alright, because mostly new players actually have some hard time following these in path of building for some reason. That's why maybe explaining things in the game can be helpful for those players. That's why I am following this format that I already explained. Let's just start. So main setup, shield charge 6 link, also shield crush while mapping, not mapping, bossing, pardon. So you just want to gem swap at big bosses. You don't need to do this at normal maps, tier 15, 16, it doesn't even matter. You just want to use shield crush on big bosses. Elder, Uber Elder, Shaper Guardians, Shaper, whatever, Sirus, Conquerors, alright, you get the idea. End game big bosses. So maps actually is better with shield charge because those guys charges around, has a better clear speed. Shield crush is actually slow for mapping, so I don't recommend it. So other links, General Cry, obviously this is a General Cry build. That is on your left mouse button because it is also instant thanks to Call to Arms keystone. You just move around, press your left mouse button, you can just move and cast at the same time, alright? That's all you want to do. Impale, this is an Impale build, so you can stock those damage and deal more damage later on. Just read the Wikipedia, I'm not gonna explain what is that, obviously if you don't know how Impale works, just read the Wikipedia. Melee physical damage because this is a melee build, more melee physical damage. You can buy Awakened later on, I haven't invested in that yet. Also Awakened Brutality, you can also buy that later on. Again, I don't have that yet. Brutality, more physical damage. Finally, Pulverize. So do you want Divergent? Absolutely yes, later on if you want to invest more. Because this is simply broken, this is getting expensive each day. Make sure that you buy this as soon as possible. Maybe stop the video right now and buy one, alright? Because it got like, it gets expensive each day, alright? Well, why is this very good? More melee area damage, normally 49%, with the Divergent, additional 20% more. Because it's more damage, it's a multiplier, which is simply broken. That's why this is very expensive. It was like 2 Exile yesterday, I'm not sure about the price right now. It definitely worth the investment. So just get this if you have the budget as soon as possible, because it's gonna get even more expensive later on. And that's pretty much it. So let's check the other setups. 4 link auras. These because I'm not using Enlighten or whatever, you don't actually need a 4 link. You can even put these auras somewhere else, alright. Pride, more physical damage obviously. Arctic Armour, this recently got buffed, that's why I am using this. This is very good while mapping. Buff grants immunity to freeze, that's pretty much it. That's why I am using that. You don't even need a freeze immunity flask for this build. If you use Anomalous, chance to freeze enemies when hit. That actually doesn't work that much. I haven't seen something get frozen. Maybe I don't notice it, I'm not sure. But this was very cheap, that's why I picked this. You can maybe try. That's pretty much it. If you have a white color, you can just don't use this at a very big boss like Sirus, maybe, or Conquerors if you want to kill them faster. Use a Herald of Purity instead, because that grants actually more physical damage. That can be good. Or if I am mistaken, just correct me, I'm not sure. Just use another buff. What Herald of Purity should work. So if you have white color, maybe you can do that, or don't bother with it. I didn't do that. You don't need that. But if you want more DPS, you can do that. Dread Banner, Impale Chance, Impale Effect, straightforward. Blood and Sand. Normally we are in Sand stance in maps because it grants more area effect, but less damage. You don't need that extra damage. This just grants us extra map clear. Once we are at the boss fight, just press it. Make sure that it is on your maybe what's this skill bar, so you can just press it easier. Bam, it's on blood stance now, so it actually provides more, where's that, more area damage while in blood stance, less area effect. So we now have better DPS, so it is good for bosses. And once you kill the boss, press again, go for sand stance. That's pretty much it. Shield charge, this is our mobility setup. This is not a general cry setup. This is one of the fastest mobility skills in the game. That's why I am using that. Because this is a shield build, this also hits a little. Sometimes it kills even monsters. That's why I picked this. Shield charge, fortify, so I can get fortify buff, so I will be tankier. Life tap, so it is free. Spend life instead of mana. And faster attack, so I can be faster. Ancestral Warchief setup. Make sure you get a Val Ancestral Warchief. Quality doesn't even matter. Just get something for 1 alchemy. Maybe level that on your own. This is our totem. If you have the Val ready, press that because it will provide even more melee damage. So just use this at bosses. Use the Val one if it is ready. We just want this to attack fast. That's why we are using faster attacks, because this applies maim. Enemies maimed by support skills take 10% increased damage, so this actually provides us even more damage. Finally, Culling Strike. So you can just cull those bosses, so you can actually kill endgame bosses faster. That's pretty much it about the setup. Guess when damage taken. Because I wanted some big absorptions, that's why this is 20 level, because we are using Molten Shell. Because this is an armor build, Molten Shell actually grants us a couple of thousand absorption. This just gets activated on its own, but the wall actually doesn't work with cast when damage taken. Make sure that it is on your skill bar. So just press this whenever you have enough souls, whenever you want some extra absorption. Something like Legion combats, I'm not sure. Abyss. Whenever you are doing some hard content, maybe in maps. The map boss, maybe you spawned Abyss, what's that, Beyond boss. Just press this. That's pretty much it, even more absorption. So you can just press this on your own. You can see that the normal one actually cannot be used. It also says that. It also has some little exclamation mark or whatever that is called. This is just, you don't even need that here actually. I just wanted to fill that extra slot. Yeah, you don't actually press this. You cannot press this normal one. So you just want that wall. Finally, increased duration, so it has increased duration. This also increases that soul gain prevention. You can see that it is 27 seconds if you don't use this. 16, almost 17 seconds. But I just want that extra duration because sometimes monsters cannot pop that absorption, so having increased duration actually helps in my opinion, especially in Legion fights. That's why I am using increased duration in the end. Berserk, our cooldown, you can pretty much sustain it for a long time. So just press it. It is on my right mouse button. You can see that I still have rage going. Still have it. Still have it. Still. Come on. I still have rage. I still have berserk. And it's gone. Now it's on cooldown. Only 5 seconds. And bam. Again. Go. So this is pretty much it. This is why the character is very fast. Sometimes if you have a lower rage, it actually lasted shorter this time. That's pretty much it. Just press this whenever it is up. More damage, more attack speed, more movement speed, less damage taken, lots of stuff, very good. This is a berserker, use this. Enhance, so it actually increases that quality, so it actually provides a little bit extra attack damage. This is just to min-max, you can get enhance later on. And finally, vitality, because I also have a double Watcher's Eye, which I am gonna explain in the talent tree and jewel section. If you don't have a double Watcher's Eye, maybe if you don't have vitality mode, you can just skip this, because this doesn't provide much on its own, because you cannot reserve this for 20 level vitality. It is only at 8 levels. 42 regen per second. Nothing even that special, right? You can just skip this. If you don't have a double Watcher's Eye, if you skip vitality, you can also skip Pride, has reduced reservation on your amulet, because this is needed to use this vitality. So if you don't have a double Watcher's Eye, just skip all of these, alright? Skip Pride modifier on your amulet, skip vitality, and play like that. You don't need this. I just bought a Watcher's Eye for the same price with vitality, that's why I did this trick. So I can also use this. I also picked Divergent, so it actually has a little bit extra damage, only 7%. And that's pretty much it. Let's check the talent tree so I can show you the jewels. We already talked about Brutal Restraint. So you just want a Nasima Brutal Restraint, so you can actually get Second Sight Keystone. So cluster jewels, because this is a Warcry build, you need those, otherwise you cannot get much damage. So these are must. You can maybe get a lower budget, large cluster, maybe with only 2 passives. Or different combination if you want something for cheaper, because the most expensive clusters are the large ones actually. The mediums are just dirt cheap. So for large, the best combination, force multiplier, double damage and physical damage. Iron breaker, physical damage and overwhelm, so you can just reduce that physical damage reduction on those enemies. Master the fundamentals for easier resist cap, because it is actually easy to cap resist. Maybe you can use something else instead of Master of Fundamentals. So yeah, it does get maybe other large cluster. You will just check the POE database website, get maybe different combination, but the most important ones are probably Force Multiplier, because it provides double damage, and Iron Breaker. For medium, this is a 2 large cluster jewel, so we are using 4 mediums total. Each one is actually different. They are all cheap. I believe one of them are like 50 chaos, the other ones are like 15, 20 chaos, something like that. Because this build still isn't popular, dirt cheap. Just buy these as soon as possible. Play this build as soon as possible. Do not even wait, alright? Because they are gonna blow up. Medium clusters with exerted attacks deal damage. So these are your base types. Obviously 4 or 5 points. If you get 6, it's gonna be a waste of points, so do not do that. Get something with 4 or 5 points. So each one has rattling bellow. Exerted attacks has a percentage chance to deal double damage, so you can just stack those for a lot of double damage chance. So put rattling bellow on all of them and get the other one different, alright? Haunting shout, enemies taunted by your war cries are intimidated. Intimidate enemies take 10% increased attack damage. More damage. Warning call, gain armor per power, whatever, up to 100%. So you can see that we have this much armor. I'm not doing anything, just war cry, bam, more armor. So you can actually get more armor. Let's see the damage reduction, but this is obviously wrong. Let's just see how much it provided. 4%, but again, this tooltip is actually wrong. It doesn't get calculated like that in the game actually. Armor doesn't get calculated like that, so don't read here and say like, I have 50%, whatever. No, this is actually wrong, alright? That is not how this game works. You can just read it in the Wikipedia if you want, how armor works if you want, alright? But this obviously provides some good armor. If you maybe want, you can just skip this, I don't know. So again, this one has Rattling Bellow, Cry Wolf, Exert attacks deal increased damage, War Cries have minimum of 10 power. That actually doesn't work for this build, I just got this for that increased 25% damage. Because I believe there is nothing for cheaper, you know. Because, let's just check General Cry. Summons Mirage Warriors from 2 corpses per 5 power, minimum 1 corpse. Where's that? Counts total power of enemies and corpses. That's why, because we have corpses all the time thanks to Corpse Walker, and if you are in a map there will be also corpses of other monsters. This can easily count that power, you know. That's why you don't need that minimum 10. So that minimum part doesn't work. It doesn't work for that armor we get from this one. Where's that? Warning call per 5 power, whatever. Because we are using General Cry all the time. Maybe if you were playing with other war cries, it won't be a General Cry build, obviously. This actually does something, but for this build, this actually doesn't work. So we just want that Exert attack deals 25% damage. So this is just for that damage part. Don't get this. I just want you to understand what's going on with everything we use, alright? That minimum 10 power doesn't even work for this build. Finally, Rattling Bellow and Led by Example. When you war cry, you and nearby allies gain onslaught. Attack speed doesn't work for this build, but we want that movement speed so we can actually be faster. Free onslaught, pretty much up all the time. Yeah, it's up all the time because our war cry actually has less than 4 seconds cooldown. You can see I got onslaught and it gets refreshed. So perma onslaught without even doing anything. I'm just walking around. And let's just check the rare jewels and that's gonna be it. Because this is a physical build, let's just check the gem tags first. Attack, AoE, movement, travel, physical, melee. So you just want physical damage, area damage, melee damage, damage while holding shield, because we are playing with a shield obviously. Don't get anything with maces. I believe that shouldn't work because we are hitting with our shield. So the stats that you want: global physical damage, area damage, resist if you are missing. I also put corrupt blood here, so I can actually avoid those corrupt bloods in Sirus combat mostly, because Sirus applies corrupted blood. If you are playing with a bleed flask while mapping, maybe you can skip this, but this was very cheap, that's why I picked this. But this actually doesn't have any life on it. Normally you also want to put life. All right, global physical, life, area damage, maim immunity is also nice. This is just to min max, you don't need those, so you don't actually get slowed from maims. Global physical, life, area, you can see that these are all the same, by the way. Global physical, life, area damage, and strength for some extra life. There's also attack damage while holding shield. Those ones are actually harder to find for some reason. Maybe people who play Spectral Shield Throw also buys those, but most of them are cold builds, so physical this combination is actually very easy to find and very cheap. Just buy these as soon as possible. Again, global physical, melee damage this time, and life. So area damage, melee damage. You get the idea. Very easy jewels, very easy to buy, cheap. Watcher's Eye, good one. Deal double damage while using Pride. So you just want to increase that double damage by using these notables on these medium jewels. And also Watcher's Eye. There is also Pride has Pride grants increase physical damage. If that is cheaper, you can start with that, because double damage Pride is a little expensive, but maybe it is now cheaper because I did this build 1 week ago. And also because I actually found something with also vitality, that's why I picked this. Normally you don't need to use vitality, I have already explained that in the gems. But if you want to use a Pride Reserve Reduction Amulet plus maybe some vitality, if you also have something like this, just for some extra regeneration, you can just do that. And that's it. Guide is pretty much finished. Let's just also check the Pantheons. I'm using Arakali, avoid lightning damage, recovery rate, blah blah, whatever. I even forgot to get the final upgrades. Actually, you want that chaos resist against damage over time, so you can be tankier against poison. But I forgot that. I believe it's in Burial Chambers map, but I'm not sure. You can also use one of these if you want. I just think that chaos resist is important, but forgot that. Soul of Aberrath, unaffected by burning ground. That's pretty much it. That's why I am using that actually. You can also use, I believe, yeah, this one for boss fights, because this build doesn't leech because we are not attacking. That's why our only heal source is our flasks, and whenever you work right, you actually also recover 10% of your life thanks to this escalation. Recover 10% of life when you use a work right. But on longer fights, maybe this is gonna be good. Every 3 seconds you generate 3 charges for your life flask, blah blah blah. This is also good for labyrinth farming, so you can also use this. That's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, share this video. Make sure that if you're not interested in this build, maybe just make sure that your friends maybe play this, because this is simply broken. This is not even a crit build. If I maybe invest further later on, because this is not super expensive or anything, I spent less than 30 Exile. A good budget, but not crazy expensive. Cleared almost everything. I only didn't do Feared, because I believe a crit build can be better for that. I didn't even try that actually, but I did everything else. You already watched everything. Maybe if I go for crit later on, I will make an update video. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, blah blah blah. Join my Discord if you want. We talk all the time. And bye bye.